the words and the deeds of a dying person. Dear brothers and sisters, we normally know that when somebody is about to die, if he or she is given a chance and is capable of doing that, they pose the most important gestures and they say the most valuable words. For priests who help people who are about to die, we know how often we hear powerful words said by dying people. Sometimes they give an advice to their families. Sometimes they apologize for what they have done. Sometimes they forgive those who did something wrong to them. So the words of somebody who knows that he or she is going to die are very, very important. And that is what we find in chapters 13 and 14 of the Gospel according to John. First, we have that gesture, the washing of the feet. And that is a very powerful gesture. Jesus is doing the last gesture before he is killed. He wants his disciples to serve one another, to be there for the others, not to be there so that those who are with us may serve us or our interests. So that gesture is very important and it is a message to all those who want to be the disciples. If we have to forget all the other gestures Jesus did, we have to remember at least that one, to be there for the others, to serve one another. And serving, as we know, works miracles. We know in that gospel, in that passage when Jesus is in Cana, we are told that the master of the ceremony did not know where the wine came from, but that the servants knew. As I said before, the servants always know how miracles are made, because those who serve are the ones who create miracles. That is a gesture. After the gesture, we also listen to the words that Jesus pronounces. He tells them, I give you a commandment, love one another. To love, because many people might choose other words that Jesus said and forget about the most important word he said, love. To love is a sufficient verb, because if you add something on that verb, as said one of our Dominican brothers from Belgium, you weaken the word. To love very much is weaker than to love. So love one another, because you cannot love in a smaller quantity. To love as Christians ought to do, that is to love fully. That is to have the image of God. We are created to be loving beings. And when we love, we recover the image of God. And when we are loved, that is probably why we are also taught that we can also love our enemies, because we know that the enemy, which can be the person we do not love, in that moment we are our own enemy, because we are the ones with the problem. Sometimes it is also somebody who does not love us. So in that time, we know that the one who does not love has a heavy weight on his heart. That person deserves compassion. And when you have compassion for somebody who is like that, who does not love like you are starting to love them already. So to love our enemies is possible. As Christians, we know that. So that is one of the words that Jesus says. And you get other things, Jesus telling them not to be troubled, because he knows they are troubled for many reasons. Christians are troubled today by many reasons. Most of them are scared of where they will go after they die, because we have been told that there is a fire awaiting us if we misbehave. So many people might live their lives in fear. And if we live our lives in fear, we will never get a chance to love and to experience God's love. God did not create us to kill us and to put us in a fire of hell. That is one of the things Jesus said. And I would like to conclude by another powerful word. Jesus says to Philip, when Philip wanted to see Jesus' Father, say, "You have seen me, so you have seen the Father. If you believe in me, you will do things that I do, and you will do even greater things." Now, that is a very powerful sentence. Sometimes we stop God's mercy. We want to stop God's mercy, saying Jesus never did that. He never said that we can do this. Because he did not do it, we cannot do that. When he says you can do greater things, he wants to say that if you open your hearts to the advocate I'm going to send you, that is the last part of chapter 14, then obviously you will do greater things than what I've done, because Jesus knows that there are so many things that are there to be done that he did not do. Maybe the people of his time could not understand that, and we cannot just close our hearts, stop God's mercy to his people, pretending that Jesus did not do things, and thus we cannot do them. Jesus says you can do greater things than I did. Of course, if we do that, it will still be Jesus doing them through us. Jesus will never left us. When he sent us the advocate, it is still God with us. So many people might say, how do we treat women today, pretending that we are doing it because Jesus did not do that? So there are many points we can discuss from this passage of the Bible. But I think chapter 13, chapter 14, chapter 15 maybe, all those chapters of the Gospel according to John are powerful chapters, because those are the things, the words Jesus wants us to remember, even if we forget everything else he did here on earth. So let us pray for us to remember that Jesus is there for us. And one last thing, when I spoke about service, the ones who serve also benefit from the service they give to others. I know a student who was studying and was helping refugees because he wanted to restore the image that his grandfather left. He was a Nazi, and he married a lady from South Africa, and she has a father who also was a member of the apartheid regime. So they help refugees, but in fact it is refugees that help them. I have seen them traveling together to Syria, to Congo, to many countries, and I believe they might not know that, but surely they are helped by the refugees more than they help them. When we serve, we receive more than we give. When we love, we receive more than we give, because we get back, first of all, the image of God, and we find it in our brothers and sisters. Let us take seriously these chapters, and if we forget anything else Jesus said or did, let us not forget what we read in chapter 13 and chapter 14 of the Gospel according to John. It was your brother Gustav from the Dominican community. Have a nice time.